we are back, and we are
Chasing our tails?
what?
Chasing our tails?
Yes, we're going to talk about chasing your tail, not tail in general. It's not that kind of podcast. Um, or also, I'm thinking a little bit of the Hitchhiker's Guide, the Don't Panic kind of thing, because I think this is really going to be. I think I want to talk a little bit really about that. It's like what happens when the poop hits the fan, as it were, and how to like get stuff back on track, how to not get yourself, basically how to not panic and get caught up in it. Even though, yes, sometimes that, we still suffer from it, but there are ways to drive forward with that. And we'll see how that goes because you and I panic differently. So we'll be interested to hear how this one goes as far as our feedback and our thoughts on this one. So we'll do a little three.
Interesting with that because the problem we run into with this one topic especially is the feedback loop. Because it's not so much just panicking or chasing your tail, but you get into a cycle of you can't break out. It's like, oh, this, you do, and that's the whole thing of chasing your tail. So
Mhm.
I'll let you get to it, but that's the big thing in my mind is we get stuck in that feedback loop. So the whole chasing your tail to me is stuck in a rut is this loop that you're just constant negative feeding negative or problem feeding problem. Like
Mhm.
not firefighting mode. This is different than firefighting mode, but you definitely can get into these cycles. So sorry.
Oh, definitely. We'll do a three, a two, a one. Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing our season of building better businesses, but we are actually the Building Better Developers podcast, also known as Developreneur or vice versa, depending on how you found us. I happen to be Rob Broadhead. No matter how you found me, that's who I am, one of the founders of Developreneur, also a founder of RB Consulting, where we help you figure out technology. And honestly, we're not actually worried about helping you figure it out. We figure out your business. We sit down with you. We understand what your business is. We work with you to figure out your special sauce and all your secrets so we can craft a recipe custom for you and your business through integration, simplification, automation, innovation, however the approach needs to be. It may be all of those. It may only be one of those. It may be that we give you a sheet of paper and a pencil and say, this is really all the technology you need. Probably not the case, but you never know. We look at what's out there. We spend a lot of time in technology. We know a lot of the tools that are out there. We know what some of the options are, and we know how to find the options as well. So even if you're in some really deep niche, we can help you figure out a solution that suits your budget, suits your customers, suits your products, and allows you to make more money with spending less money, or at least smarter spending of money in the technology world and all the sprawl that is out there. Now, good things, bad things. A good thing is, this is like a good little combo too. So I'll start with a bad thing. The other day, we had an order from somebody, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it's sort of like an A to Z kind of place. And we got this order, and we got notified, as one does through these orders, that they couldn't deliver the order. Well, it happened to be, this was for my wife, and she was actually sitting there, and we were on the street, and we looked down and we saw the delivery person. And so she was texting with him through the device and said, hey, I see you. I'll come get this. She goes to this guy, does not speak English. Funny enough, does speak a language that she speaks. So even speaking his native language, she is not able to get him to understand that there's probably more than one package in his car, and that the one he's looking at is not hers, but there's another one in there that he needs to drop off. Didn't work out. So it took us another day before this thing showed up. The good thing is what showed up is that she had ordered a travel multi-screen laptop extender thing, which is, I know I'm getting too technical here, but it was really cool. It allows you to have like a nice, it sits on your main screen of your laptop. It opens up into a couple of nice little, like, I think they're 14, 15-inch monitors, something like that. High quality, love it. And it is definitely a good way to turn your little laptop into a Road Warrior desktop. And I will be definitely testing that out for a while. And she will probably get another pair as well for her so that we can have like lots and lots of screens if we really want to. But you only need one screen for this guy. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. So, Michael, go for it.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael Meloche. I'm one of the co-founders of Developer Building Better Developers. I'm also the founder of a company called Envision QA, where we help companies with software problems. You can be a software company, or you can just be a run-of-the-mill company on Main Street trying to do your business, but struggling with the technology to do your job. It could be anything from Windows isn't working, or your inventory system is crashing, or your website is down. We come in, we walk through you, we help you understand your problems, help you understand your technology stack, and then we will help you customize a solution to meet your needs. Good thing, bad thing. So along that line, I'm jealous. However, I have two 49-inch ultra wides. Unfortunately, they are only used for work, not gaming. I have gamed on them once in 2 years, which is a shame. Um, But what you're describing is almost like the ultra wides, but for my laptop, which is beautiful. I would love to just take that with me anywhere because when I travel to different places, that would be awesome. So, little bad thing there is I don't have that. Jealous. Good thing though, uh, things that have been moving along. Weather's better, life's better. Allergies still suck, but as Rob mentioned in the pre-show, new games coming out or remastered games coming out. So excited to get around to that eventually, and some other gamings because I am a gamer. I like the Switch too. I'm waiting to see that. Mario Kart World looks interesting, but anyway, I digress. Very excited about gamings that are coming out. Blueprints has sucked up what little time I have, but with all that being said, at least I've had good thing is I've had time to have a little slice to enjoy the things I like to enjoy. Well, the negative is I don't have the tech you have. I'm tech envy. So I'll pass it back to you.
Yes, we all have that at some point, and I'm glad to be the envy as opposed to the envier or something like that. But I'm also not, obviously, not enough of a wordsmith. So instead, I'm going to continue on with the topic of this episode, which happens to be effectively don't panic. I want to talk about this is it does get a little bit into the developer side and some of the other things, but it's regardless of your situation. This is really what to do when you're finding yourself blocked, when you find yourself in a rut, when you find yourself stuck chasing your tail, when and it's not just that you're doing it, it's when you essentially realize it and now you're like, how do I stop? How do I stop this? Because if you're just chasing your tail, you could be like a little dog that's just happy as, like, oh, I'm chasing my tail, I'm chasing my tail. And then suddenly you realize, I'm chasing my tail. I can't do this anymore. This is killing me, or something like that. That's usually when you panic because you're like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And that's basically what we're talking about here is like when you throw your hands up and you're like, all right, I don't know where to go. I don't like where I'm at. I don't like where I'm going. I don't know how to change course, things like that. That's what I want to talk about this episode. Now, we all, I think, handle these situations differently. Now, I will tell you that I do this a lot. There's the Hulk line where they're like, how do you turn in the Hulk so fast? And he's like, because I'm always angry. That's like me. I think at some point I was always stressed. So stress isn't new to me. It's just my modus operandi. I'm used to always being under fire, having pressure, got to do stuff, get it done today, things like that. It doesn't mean that I'm the most pleasant person when fires erupt and things like that. There are sometimes that dumpster fires bother me, and usually that means it's going to bother the people around me as well, which is probably more motivation for me to figure my crap out so I'm not making everybody else miserable. The thing that I do to help fix those things is first just scream really loud. No, you can. I think there is a value in just saying, you know what? I'm in a bad place. I'm stuck or something like that. And give yourself a minute to just be like, I'm so sad for myself, cry, tears, go have a beer, have a big bowl of ice cream, whatever it is, it's your thing. Take a little bit of time. And the thing is take a little bit of time to just stop. If you're chasing your tail and you can't figure out how to stop chasing your tail, then sometimes it's just a matter of just stop. It's just like sit there and sit in it for a second and go, this is not what I want to do. This is not where I want to go. And this can be with a project. It can be almost anything in your life. And from a business side, these are going to be things like I am stuck. I've got a customer that I hate and I'm trying to figure out how to get him out of my life and or her. I'll even allow it's not just gender. But or this like I've bit off more than I can chew, or this project is taking longer than it should, or this product isn't working the way it is. There's like and on and on. There's so many ways things can go wrong, and they can frustrate the living daylights out of us. However, once you essentially like own it and say, all right, not good, got to fix it. The panicked approach is in do everything. That's like, it's like people are running around with their hair on fire and they're going away like, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Well, you probably will because in most movies, those are the people that get killed first. What you want to do is you want to take a deep breath and figure out what is the path to get you to success. It is almost entirely a reset in a sense. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at. And you may not even know, so you may have to take a little bit of time to adjust, to assess where you're at, and then say, what's the goal that I'm trying to accomplish? What will get me out of this? And then it's actually pretty simple. Then make a plan. Is what are the steps I need to take to get there? Now I'm going to take something let's take it's sort of business-y, but not. And let's just take it like, let's say it's a money thing because it's like it's a nice simple. So it's like, hey, I'm in too much debt, or I don't have enough funds to get this product finished for my customers, or so it could be a business level, not enough money, or it could be a personal, not enough money. Well, what you need to do is say, okay, well, I don't have enough money. And then you need to look at like assess a little bit. So is it because my income and my outgoing are out of balance? If so, this is sort of like an if and then kind of thing. To take this step, but it's okay if they're out of balance and my income is not what my outgoing is then I need to go probably address my outgoing. Now, this goes back to what we talked about in a prior episode, where it's like sort of like an MVP or requirement. It's like what's going out that I can stop, and then if that's not good enough, then what's going in? How can I improve the income? So those are steps. Those are solid steps because you get to a point where maybe it's like, in order to get to my goal, I need to have my income outpace my outcome for 2 months, let's say. So that's at least you've got a goal. You set a goal. A goal line of objective is key because now you start working with things to say, keeping that in mind, how do I get there? Now, the interesting part in all this, to avoid you from falling back into panic and despair and you just curl up like in a little ball, is make sure that your objective is something you believe is reasonable, is doable. If it's not, adjust it to something that you think that you are capable of doing. That you're like, it can happen. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it is a realistic goal. So if your goal is, I want to be a billionaire in 3 weeks and you've never made more than $5 in a year, okay, unrealistic. You're not going to get there. But roll it back and figure out, and maybe it's one of those like the only way I'm going to get out of this is this objective that is impossible. Okay, reset your expectations. This is actually key as a business person because sometimes it's not just reset your expectations. It is let's reset my customers' expectations. Maybe a hard conversation, but it's actually a very good one to have because what you're going to end up doing is resetting stuff for yourself, but also for those that are causing you stress, those that are part of the problem. It's getting them on the same page and being able to say, okay, we didn't get it. We're not going to get it. This seems like, we've taken some wrong turns or whatever it happens to be. We need to make some adjustments. Then that will allow you to make the adjustments and also reduce some of the stress. So I'm going to stop right there and sort of toss this over. Like, what do you think on that?
So I want to start with the question, how did we get here? Because the biggest problem I run into a lot, uh, is when you reach the point where you're chasing your tail, you're in that don't panic, you're in that feedback loop of what do I do? Oh, there's all these firefighting mode. I hate saying firefighting mode because firefighting mode and chasing your tail are kind of two different lanes. So be careful with that. You can be in firefighting mode, but not be in this feedback loop. How did we get here? We run into situations, and I'm there more often than not because I'm always over extending my time and resources because we only have so much time in a day that we can get things done. And we commit to something, but then something else comes along personally or work wise or whatever that changes that time. We already have committed to getting X done, but now we have something else that has taken up that time. And you're freaking out because it's like, what the hell? How am I going to get all this done when I made these commitments? It made sense, but now I'm off the rails. It's like, oh crap. Um, it could be money. It could be time. It could be you're overcommitted. Most of the time, my problems are overcommitment and money. And unfortunately, money isn't always in my control, I should say. Uh, I have set a lot of things in place. So, to correct this problem, to help avoid a lot of these feedback loops for particular issues, money is one of the few things you can do to buffer yourself through feedback loops. You have to pay bills. So you have a set expenditure that you have to cover every month, every year to keep the business going. So that is almost finite. Yes, there are some unexpected costs, but really running a business, like the expenditures of the business, are all pretty finite. There are some things per project that go up and down, but for the overall business, you have a set, I need X to pay the bills. Your home life, personal bills are about the same. You have X to live, mortgages, electric bill, cell phone bill, etc. It's those outliers where you overextend yourself, either in business or in personal, that bites you in the ass. And money is one of the number one reasons why people go crazy. It's one of the biggest stressors in our lives, and it applies to business. It's not just personal. And it's not just about running the business. When you take on a project, you place a bid. Hey, I'm going to do X to get this job done for you. And you can easily fall into the stress of, we're not there. Are we there yet? You may plan things out to where you have things you have the triggers in place to protect yourself. But even those triggers do not protect you, because there's the old saying, the straw broke the camel's back. There's always something externally that can come in and destroy a project. It can destroy a project. It can destroy your finances. It can destroy whatever it is you're working on. And you get into that mode where it's like Rob said, I got to do everything. Sometimes if you get into that mode, if you have a team and you seem to be the only one yelling fire in a movie theater and everyone else is fine, do you see fire or do you see gasoline and they don't see the fire? Meaning, do you see a catalyst for something that is not there, or something that is potentially going to cause a problem, something out of your control, and you need to walk it back? So if people around you say things are fine, but you're like, they're not fine, where's the happy medium? Are we out of control? Are you the person that is, the sky is falling and it is falling, but no one else is seeing it? Or are you over analyzing, being too critical about where you're at, where things are, and your team is trying to tell you, hey, come back. It's cool. We're calm. But there is a place where we're in between where you could be in a situation where a person sees the fire and no one else does. So there is a case where, yes, we're talking about chasing your tails. We're talking about don't panic. But there is a situation where someone is raising the flag. Hey, there is a fire. Things are wrong. You do need to listen, but maybe pull them aside or take a step back. Hey, are things really as bad as they seem?
I think what you want to look at in this is from the panic point of view, because it's sometimes, yes, you're just panicking because you're panicking, but there's usually something behind that. There is some pressure, there's something that needs to be done, there's something like that. And so I like to look at it as, and it's sort of the old, I guess it's an old saw basically of let tomorrow's problems worry about themselves. Today has enough problems of its own. I think a lot of times when we panic and things like that, and actually the panic itself, usually what happens when we panic is it's like we're just trying to get everything done at one time, or we're just trying to this problem has to be solved immediately. And I think that's where the challenge is to rein that back in, because it being solved immediately is probably not actually going to solve it. It's things like, I'm in the rain, and so I need to solve this immediately. So I'm going to run across the street inside that building, and then you run in front of a car and you get killed. Okay, you don't have to worry about the rain anymore, but you have bigger issues. And that's really the problem we have. We're in a situation where we're trying to get out of it. And the problem with that is that we don't think rationally, that we put ourselves a lot of times in a worse situation than we were in before, or at least there's a chance, because now we're not really paying attention. So our risk of getting into something we shouldn't be increases quite a bit. And so that's really where it comes down to, is when you find yourself in this situation, you want to find that goal. But one of the things it's like, and this is sort of that most basic of things, is find your first step that is in the right direction. So you could be spinning around and around and around and chasing your tail. And so it's that stop and go, okay, I'm chasing my tail. I need to stop this somehow. Okay, what am I supposed to do other than chase my tail? Oh, I'm supposed to walk down the street to that corner. Okay, orient yourself. Where's that corner? How can I get there? I don't need to get there right now, but how can I put myself so that a minute from now, 5 minutes from now, an hour from now, I'm closer to my goal than I am right now, that I've made some sort of progress. And this goes back to little bit incremental baby step kind of progress. It's just, as long as we can build a little bit of momentum in the right direction, is going to help us for that next step, and that next step. So it really is, it seems so cliche, but it really is. Stop, take a deep breath, give yourself a second, assess where you are, and then just pick a first step. Because even if that goal is impossible to you right now, take a step in that direction anyways, and let's see what happens. Because that at least puts you in a better situation than you were before you took that step. So that is where the challenge is today. If you're freaking out, if you've got something that's stressing you out, if you've got something that you think is going to stress you out, if you've got problems, if you got 99 problems and working code ain't one or something like that, stop for a second and just consider, what is the step? What is one little step that you can take that will put you in a better position towards that goal than you are right now. And it may be a very difficult step sometimes. It could be things like, well, I guess the first thing is I'd have to talk to my boss. Okay, nobody likes it, unless I'm your boss, nobody likes to talk to their boss. Those kinds of things are like, what's that step? And maybe it is like, I can't talk to my boss. But that's the step that comes to me. Okay, well, rein it back then. Instead of talking to your boss, maybe it's I'm going to sit down and start to craft an email to my boss, or I'm going to think about what is it that I'm going to talk to my boss about, or something that like gets you moving forward, gets you off the ball essentially of sitting there and just not being in a good place, and instead saying, okay, what can I do to move myself out of this? Maybe it is just, okay, I'm chasing my tail. I don't know where I'm going to go, but at least now I'm going to chase my tail slower or something like that. I mean, sometimes it is very, very minimal, but if you chase your tail slower and slower and slower, eventually you can stop. It's just like, it really is step by step by step. That is what you need to be looking for. So I think your first step, and Michael knows what's coming, is to send us an email at info@developernerd.com and let us know how it's going. We would be happy to commiserate with you. We would be happy to help you down a gallon of ice cream. Whatever it is that helps you feel better, we would love to be there and just like be your support team and, root you on and help you guys, cheer you forward wherever it is you're going. You can also leave us feedback on YouTube, anywhere that you get podcasts. Out on X, we are at Developreneur. We have a Facebook page. We're boomers like that, or whatever it is, even if we're not. We've got plenty of places to get a hold of us. Any of those places are great. Developernerd.com itself, we've got feedback forums. You can leave feedback, comments on anything that's out there, whether it's videos, whether it's blog articles, whatever the heck it is. Love to hear from you. And we'd love to hear how your challenges are going. These have been, and honestly, if you get the newsletter, you note that there've been a lot of interesting challenges in this season. And I think that even if you pick a couple of them, you will find a huge improvement in your business, because we've had some actually really good things that we've stumbled across as we've gone through this season and had some topics and some related challenges. That being said, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time. Bonus material.
So, one of the things we didn't get to in the episode that I think are important is, are you internalizing the problem? Is it better to reach out to your team and just be honest? Hey, what do you guys think of X? Are we off the rails? Are we, is this a problem? Now, if you're the manager, it's hard to relinquish that. It's hard to talk through that. Or, introverts, you don't like talking about these things. Sometimes voicing the problem erases the problem. But sometimes voicing the problems does highlight that this is an issue. Throw it out there. Hey, talk to your team. Keep it open communication. Keep it adversary, meaning it's a safe space. If someone throws out, hey, I feel this, take it into consideration, answer honestly, and no hurt feelings. Don't shut someone down just because they're having concerns about a problem. Now, if you're in a help desk, my wife got me this years ago. It's called a damn it doll. And the whole point of it is, whenever things don't go so well and you want to hit the wall and yell, here's a little damn it doll that you can't do without. Just grasp it firm by the legs, and then place it and smash it and whack it and stuffed doll and yell, damn it, damn it, damn it. Damn it all.
Or, guess I hate to follow that because that's actually a pretty good one. I think I do want to. I think I want to go with the whole the taking a step forward as the best way, because I'm going to lead into something that is going to be like, oh no, you're going there again, but I'm going to go there again. But I'm going to start with this taking that first step. I recommend a little Pomodoro. Give yourself like a 25-minute, especially if this is if you just don't know. Get your little Pomodoro timer, 25 minutes, a 5 minute break thing that it does. Just getting that 25, where it's just like the whole point is to let everything else out and let's sit down and let's focus. Another thing you can do, which I found really useful when I do the Pomodoro stuff, is go find one of these like uh, focus music kind of channels and stuff like that. There's a couple different ones that I use that are very useful. And I actually, a couple of them I use based on what my task is. So it'll help do the tunes are a little bit different. And I don't know how much that audio stuff helps, but it does to me, may to you as well. But the important thing is with that is that means I've put this music on that is just, it's not, I mean, there's no lyrics or anything. There's just music. So there's background. I put my headphones on. So it helps me shut stuff out and be able to actually address the problem and figure out what is it. And sometimes that first step is just figuring out what the first step is. It's like literally, like I said, it's finding your bearings and like which direction do I need to face for my first step. That is something that I think will help you quite a bit if you can find a way to make that work.
Interesting with that, Tim Ferriss mentioned it with reading books. Make sure you don't read two thought-provoking books at the same time. If you're dealing with multiple problems that are over thought-provoking, try to narrow it down to one problem at a time. As Rob said, the Pomodoro works with that. But the problem a lot of us have is we have a lot of triggers. And if you have multiple things that trigger the same thing, even if you pivot, if you're in the same trigger, you're not going to reset. So be very careful with how you pivot, which direction you go between these Pomodoros.
That is a good point. Is that you want to it's one Pomodoro, I think, is the challenge here. Is what you would do is because if you do too much, then you might be suddenly taking yourself down another rabbit hole that you don't need to go down. I think it's something where it's like part of this is making that step intentional. So you take that step and then I don't know, celebrate it or sit in it for a second or something like that. So it's like, hey, I made progress. Pat myself on the back, whatever it is, so that you're like, hey, I can do this. And then start building that momentum of, hey, I'm doing this, I'm making progress. And noting that's going to help you too, because what's going to happen is like, a couple of days from now, or whatever it is, as you've taken more steps, you can look back and go, I remember patting myself on the back. I'm hurting my arm. I'm patting myself on the back so much because I'm taking steady steps towards whatever that goal is. And that's going to help you not only with this one and to be able to say, yeah, I've got momentum. I'm going, I'm making progress. The next time it happens, it's going to make it that much easier because you're going to say, hey, I've done this before. Just like we have done this before. We've done a lot of these episodes. We have quite a few probably left. Who knows where this is going to stop? And
so make sure you like us, subscribe, follow us, reach out to us, tell us what you think. We need your information. We need your feedback. Follow us on Developer Nerd at Facebook, Twitter, developernerd.com, and we're on LinkedIn. Make sure you follow us wherever we are. And hey, guys, have a great day, great week, and we will talk to you next time.
Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.